but I definitely want to tell the truth on the channel. That's kind of been my thing, is just keeping it real, being nonchalant, and not sugarcoat anything. Well, something has struck me as eerie and odd with the Indiana Fever. Indy, we have a problem because fans is very concerned that Caitlin Clark might not win WNBA MVP for the 2025 season. Now, we know Caitlin Clark is a dominant basketball player. Majority of the time, Caitlin Clark is very successful when the game is kind of ran through her, similar to what we've seen in Iowa. Caitlin Clark in Iowa ran a read and read.
Did you know Caitlin Clark might never win MVP in the WNBA? The shocking reason has nothing to do with her talent and everything to do with Indiana Fever's new offensive system. Stephanie White is shifting from the read-and-react offense that made Clark a college superstar to a motion offense where nobody dominates the scoring. We're talking about Clark's potential 23 points per game dropping to just 10 to 15 points. This offensive change could be the biggest obstacle in Clark's path to greatness.
Here's why she only lost the national championship game twice was due to rebounding, simply rebounding. South Carolina out-rebounded Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes, and LSU out-rebounded them. Offense, hence why she made 3-star players look like 5-star players. Hence why they had one of the most dominant offenses for pretty much the last 2 seasons of her playing college basketball. If they could have figured out a way to get those rebounds, they would have won. Any team could lose a game due to rebounding. Now, with all that being said, we have to go back to the core of the situation. The core of the situation is where we at today.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Is Coach White secretly setting up Clark to fail? The evidence is starting to pile up, and you need to know what's really happening behind the scenes. Let me break this down for you. When Caitlin Clark was destroying records at Iowa, she was the centerpiece of a read-and-react offense that put the ball in her hands. That system let her make split-second decisions, create shots for herself, and find teammates with those ridiculous passes we all love. It was built for her genius basketball IQ, and it worked perfectly. But here's where things get concerning. The Indiana Fever is now implementing a completely different system, a motion offense that could seriously limit Clark's superstar potential. This isn't just speculation anymore. Sophie Cunningham straight up confirmed it when she said, "I do love the offense we're going to be playing. It's a motion offense. I feel like I haven't played in a motion offense since college, and so it's going to be run and gun kick and shoot lots of threes."
You know, I like the step back going to the left. I think the thing that makes it really hard is we run a read and react offense. You never know what's going to happen. Well, you just watch Debbie Antonelli's videos that she's been putting on Twitter, because I gave an entire scouting report and I still do it in the game. But I mean, I'll tell you, but if you just watch my games, not much ever changes. You can't scout that. Like, you can try all you want, you can work on actions, but you never know what we're going to do, because we don't even know what we're going to do. And I think that's the best way to play basketball, is you're just making reads. You're using your brain.
You know what a motion offense means? Nobody dominates the ball. It's all about constant movement, quick passes, and balanced scoring. Look at teams running this system. The Lynx and Sun. Their top scorers barely reach 18 points per game because the ball keeps moving around. That's the complete opposite of what made Clark special. What's crazy is that back in December, Coach White had a totally different vision. She literally said she wanted players to use their instincts and to play free, and that they wanted to make plays, not run plays. That sounds exactly like the read and react system that turned Clark into a college legend. So what happened? The numbers paint a frightening picture for Clark fans. Instead of potentially averaging 23+ points per game as the focal point, this motion system could easily knock her down to just 10 to 15 points.
We want to get out in transition. But I think for me, you know, the area I want to thrive in is always transition. You know, that's why I take pride in getting on the defensive glass and pushing the ball, because I just think it's so hard to guard us, especially with the way our 4s and 5s run the floor. And Coach Butter says, just be a basketball player. You know, don't be a robot. Be a basketball player. And that's why people like watching Iowa women's basketball, is because we make reads, we have fun, we play up tempo, and Kate and Gabby can spot up for threes. I think it's really, really hard for us. So yeah, I think, you know, everybody knows what I'm going to do at this point. It's just, I don't know. That's what I always tell myself, is just be you. You know, that's all you can do.
That's the difference between being the next face of the league and just being another good player on a mediocre team. Think about it. A motion offense is described as a team-oriented offense where, generally speaking, nobody dominates. That's literally the opposite of what Clark needs to showcase her unique talents. How can she dominate games when the system is specifically designed to prevent any single player from taking over? While the system might be designed to prevent dominance, what if it wasn't Coach White's idea at all? The veteran players joining Indiana might be the real puppet masters pulling strings behind the scenes, and their influence could be silently derailing Clark's superstar trajectory. Let's connect some dots here. Remember when Clark first arrived in Indiana? Coach White couldn't stop talking about building the team's entire identity around her unique talents. Then something strange happened. Veterans like Natasha Howard and Janiyah Bonner showed up, and suddenly the entire offensive philosophy did a complete 180. This isn't just coincidence. These veteran players have spent years in the league running traditional systems. They've built entire careers around specific offensive structures. Do you really think they're excited about completely changing how they play just to accommodate some rookie? Of course not. They want things run their way. When Sophie Cunningham started talking about the new offense, she revealed something crucial that nobody's really talking about. This motion system, with its emphasis on three-point shooting, directly benefits experienced players who already understand how to find their spots within a structured offense. Meanwhile, Clark gets relegated to standing in the corner waiting for passes. Look at what happens to Clark's game in this setup. Instead of having the ball in her hands creating magic, she's forced to play off-ball, cutting through lanes and setting screens. This completely neutralizes what makes her special. The worst part? This system doesn't just hurt her scoring, it devastates her playmaking too. The assist numbers tell an even more disturbing story. In this motion offense, Clark's potential to dish out 9 to 10 assists per game could easily plummet to just 5 to 6. Why? Because everyone's touching the ball, everyone's making passes, and suddenly those game-changing dimes get distributed across the entire roster. That's another massive blow to her MVP chances. Perhaps the most revealing evidence comes from timing. Why would Coach White suddenly abandon her original offensive vision, right when seasoned veterans joined the team? The power dynamics are obvious. Established players carry weight in the locker room, and their preferences often win out over rookies, no matter how talented. So here's the truth bomb. Clark's basketball DNA just doesn't fit into Coach White's motion system. We're watching a superstar being forced to adapt to a style that might completely erase what makes her special. This isn't about Clark lacking WNBA talent. It's about a system that's designed to create balance at the expense of individual brilliance. The real drama is just beginning. Will Clark silently adapt to this new role, or will she push back against White's vision? This could create serious tension as the season unfolds. What started as a dream pairing could dissolve into a power struggle that damages both their careers. The Fever's offensive strategy isn't just limiting Clark's stats. It might be destroying their relationship altogether.